Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Debbie and I do a lot of book reviews because I read a lot. And guess what? We've got another one. So this one is How Hard Can It Be by Allison Pearson. I'll get straight in and read that blurb to you because this is how I start it. Kate Reddy is counting down the days until she is 50, but not in a good way. 50 in Kate's mind equals invisibility, and she's caught between her traitorous hormones, unknowable teenage children, and ailing parents. She's back at work after a break now that her husband Rich has dropped out of the rat race to master the art of mindfulness. But just as Kate is finding new tricks to get by, her old client and flame Jack reappears. Complicated, doesn't even begin to cover it. I haven't read a book like this in a very, very long time. It's funny, it's heartbreaking, it's heartwarming. I laughed out loud while reading this book. I cried while reading this book. And it's a book that I bashed my ear with a book. Yeah, it's a book that can be read by all ages. There are so many characters that different people can identify with. It's all done kind of in diary form by the main character Kate. As I understand it, this is a sequel kind of to the book I Don't Know How She Does It by Allison Pearson. I haven't read that one, so now I need to go track down the first one and read it as like a prequel. But I massively enjoyed this book. It was so funny. And as somebody who is now in her 30s, there were things that I could identify with. Some things not so much because she's a 49-year-old with teenage children, but it kind of looks at the life of a woman who gave up work to look after her kids, trying to get back into the job sector and not really knowing where to begin. And to be honest, the book starts off with her dealing with her teenage daughter's crisis of sharing a belfie, that's a bum selfie, on social media. And to be honest, I hadn't heard of a belfie before. I'm so old. Not as old as Kate though. But yeah, so it starts off with her trying to deal with a bit of a fallout between her daughter and her friends after sharing this belfie online. And she's looking at her kids growing up in a world of social media. So, you've got, parents of teenagers identifying with Kate and trying to understand how to raise children in a time of social media. And then you've also got kind of other stories going in with that because, she's counting down the days until she turns 50. She's trying to get back into the job sector, which is where a bit of a younger storyline comes in because she lies to get back into work. She lies about her age. Instead of saying she's 49, she says she's 42, and she ends up working at a job that she actually worked for them back when she was 42. So the way she lies about her age is that the age she is saying that she is when she's trying to get back into work is actually the age that she left work. Does that make sense? You just see her struggling, and it's just, I laughed so much while reading this book. One of my favourite parts of this book is the way she refers to the archivist in her brain, because if you've ever seen Inside Out, it's basically the idea that there's like some minions working in your head and getting rid of non-essential memories. And the minion in Kate's head is called Roy. She calls him Roy throughout the book, saying like, Roy, where is this information? Roy, what is the plot to Twelfth Night? Roy, remind me to go to the gynecologist. It's so funny, and it kind of makes me feel like everybody should name the archivist in their heads. But it's, as a 32-year-old with no children, it is interesting to see the point of view of parents in this day and age. Dealing with the fact that their kids are born into social media and how to handle that. I'm not sure if it was meant to kind of give that kind of story, because a lot of it is just Kate's story and figuring out how she fits into the life that she's created. She's dealing with a teenage daughter, a son who's kind of on the cusp. I think he's supposed to be about 13. You see everybody grow up in this book, and then you've got the relationship that's with her husband that's kind of becoming a bit estranged. Her husband's basically going through a bit of a midlife crisis and decided to quit work, retrain. He's becoming very spiritual. He shaves his entire body because he wants to be a cyclist, and so you kind of see a bit of a breakdown in the marriage when Kate realises that there might be more than she thinks going on in regards to her husband's way of life at this point. And then she's also dealing with the fact that a man that she met in her 20s, 30s comes back into her life, and she realises that she still has feelings for him, and it's all very comedy drama. Because I'll admit, you've seen me compare books to movies and TV series before, and that's because when I read a book, I create a movie in my mind while I'm reading, and that's a reason why I can't read when I go to bed, because my brain wants to finish off the movie, and that's what I do when I read. I've got that movie going on. But yeah, I really, really enjoy this book. I definitely think it's a book that could be read by all ages, because you've got the, obviously, I think this is a really good book for teenagers to read and realise the position that they're putting their parents in when it comes to growing up with social media, and go the whole thing, the parents just don't get it. And the truth is, they don't. Social media started for me when I was in high school, and that was with MySpace. I wasn't born into it, but it happened when I was a teenager, and so this is becoming a big thing about growing up with social media. But it's a big plot point in this book when you're looking at Kate and her relationship with her daughter following what happens like in the first chapter, which is her daughter coming to her in a panic because she's realised that this picture that she sent to her friends comparing tan lines has suddenly become the talk of her year group. And so it starts off by explaining the dangers of social media to you, and you're seeing her daughter reacting to that, you're seeing Kate react to that, and then also trying to keep that hidden from the rest of the family because she doesn't want to embarrass her daughter further. Again, that's just like in the first chapter. I'm not spoiling the rest of the book by still talking about the Belfry. But yeah, it's a great, funny book. There's there's romance in there. You see a relationship with her parents and her parents-in-law, because you look at her husband Richard's parents and kind of their decline. There's something for every generation in this book, and that's what makes it so fantastic. You can see I'm smiling. I literally finished this 10 minutes ago, and I just enjoyed it so much. As it says in the back, it's razor sharp, it's funny, it can make you cry, it's got all the emotions in this book. It tells a really, really good story, and it has a happy ending in there. I think there were points when I wasn't sure which happy ending it was going to go for, but it had a really, really nice ending for it, because there's certain parts where, as the outsider to Kate's life, because it's done in kind of a diary, as an outsider to Kate's life, you kind of see things before Kate does. So as some of the stories were coming out, especially with the relationship with their daughter, so I felt I'm getting lower and lower. But yeah, as you see kind of the relationship and kind of the breakdown of relationship between Kate and her daughter, there are certain things that you're just like, I think I know what's coming here. And so it's interesting when you're in that point as a reader, when you're seeing things before the main character does, and you almost want to scream at the book going, no, you've missed it. And there's actually a point when towards the end, when she's putting things together in her head with things that happened earlier in the book, and she's just like, they're going, what's the importance of the bike, what's the importance of this, and you feel like screaming at the character, this is what you've just been told. This is what quite possibly we figured out at the beginning of the book. It's just, as I said, it's an interesting position to be in as a reader when you are one step ahead of the main character, but at the same time, the author is like 3 steps ahead of it. I get so knackered talking about these books, but it's because as I said, I finished this about 10 minutes ago. I like to make these videos when the book is still fresh in my mind and I'm still kind of processing what I've read. And to be honest, there'll probably be stuff that I'll think of once I've turned off the camera. There has been for all the books I've talked about so far, there'll be always something just like, oh, I wish I said this, oh, I wish I said that. But at the same time, what I say in the heat of the moment, as I'm talking to my camera about these books, it's fresh. It's fresh in my mind, apart from a couple of the ones that I did over Christmas, because some of them were done quite long time after I read them, because I did like 25 books over Christmas. Not quite sure what I'm going to do for this Christmas, because I'm telling you about every single book. Yes, so How Hard Can It Be by Allison Pearson. I'm next going to have to track down the book before, which was I Don't Know How She Does It, because I didn't realise until the end actually, but it says, because in the acknowledgements she says, I'm never sure about sequels. In I Don't Know How She Does It, I thought I said everything I wanted to say about combining work and motherhood. So I think it'll be interesting to go back and read the relationships before this, because this kind of looks at it looks at the breakdown between parent and child, parent and husband. So I'm kind of wondering where the first book goes with it. Anyway, so thank you so much for watching. This has been another book review by Debbie. If you aren't subscribed already, please do. I read so many books and I'll constantly talk about the books I read. Don't forget to click those bell notifications if you want to know the exact moment I upload. I upload videos every single Wednesday. Have I forgotten anything? I don't think I have. But yes, so thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next week for another video.